We should go live. We are live. Okay, good. Streaming. Cool. Audio. Good. Let's go here. Sorry, guys. Can you see me now? Are we good? Okay. Everyone there? So after all of that, I missed my own window. Let's get rid of this. There we go. So hi guys. So sorry, I was set 1:15. I'm going to be at my desk. I'm going to go, and I'm sitting here and I'm fiddling around with OBS and I'm doing all this stuff, and then I suddenly realized there's the time. So I apologize, but let's move on. Okay, so very quickly, let's go through the charts. Let's have a look at what's going on here. So here's my daily. This is the daily chart. And we're going to look at 4 hour quickly. So we're looking at euro dollar. Why? Because it's the biggest currency against the US dollar. Don't forget you've got afternoon, Michael. Hi, Michael. Don't forget, you've got gold against the US dollar. You've got stocks against the US dollar, the S&P against the dollar. You've got oil against the dollar. But the euro is the greatest currency against the US dollar. So we're going to have a quick look here. It looks like it wants to be bullish. I'm just going to mark this in here. It looks like it kind of wants to potentially break. We've got bullish divergence. Looks like it wants to go a little bit higher. The daily is trying to slow down. So right now, it looks like it might go higher. Remember, it's probably going to swish around in both directions. That being said, and what's interesting is, can you guess what the, what the range is going to be? So for fun, I think let's see what it's going to be. So just for fun, we're just going to try to kind of guess what the range is going to be. We'll sort of go either that way and let's see what happens. And then let's see what happens with this. Let's look at sterling. Is sterling looking bullish? Yes, sterling is looking nice and bullish. You've got bullish off support here. So it looks like it wants to do that. It looks like it wants to push higher. Let's see if that does do that. If it does follow through, remember it's going to swing around. It's going to do a couple of things. Let's look at gold quickly. Gold also looks like it's slowing down, trying to stay where it is, but and there's bullish divergence here. So we could close higher, but we could break down. So we'll see. So possible weaker US dollar. And then finally, let's have a look quickly at the indices. In principle, I think we need to have a deeper correction. So I do think there's a good chance we could see the indices close lower, which would be a stronger dollar. But I think it's going to swish around as well. And lastly, let's have a quick look at Bitcoin sitting on our level of support. I mean, that's going to take a hit anyway. I think that's going to take a hit. Okay, so let's go back to this. Let me find my, excuse me, my Forex Factory number. So let's just see what that's going to be. Let's just have a look and see what's going to happen here. So what do we think is going to be the case? Let me see my OBS quickly. Okay, so we're looking at, there it is, push higher. Okay, doesn't matter. We'll come back to the number in a moment. There we go. So it's curious to me. It's how far is it going to go? Remember, it's probably going to swish a lot higher. So quite interesting. The technical is kind of providing a little bit of insight there. And what is the number on this? We're still waiting, but looks like lower than expected. 187,000 jobs. That's what I see. Interesting. Still 187,000 jobs, but less than expected, which would be a weaker US dollar kind of thing. All right, let's have a look. What do you guys think? 187. Oh, you got that. Okay, 187. While we're waiting for this to settle quickly, I have a question. I'm trying to define what my channel does. Like, what are the things that people want to get from my channel? And I'm really struggling with it. Like, I know the weekly technical analysis video is one thing, but is there other stuff I could be doing? I don't know what the magic sauce is that people like about my channel. That is the thing I should be focusing on to make sure that I deliver it. That makes my stuff me and makes it unique. I don't know. So any comments or advice that you give me on that would be really very much appreciated. Okay. Yeah, so interesting here. Just that it looked a little bit bullish there. It looked a little bit bullish on sterling. We're not out of the woods just yet. That would mean that we're seeing gold should bump up a little bit. There we go. Look how it broke through that level. That was so interesting. Broke down and then pushed higher. And then we've got the indices. So they've pushed up a little bit as well. They look okay. they're not too worried. Let's see how that goes. I think mine are delayed or they're real time. No, delayed by 10 minutes. Okay, so there's a bit of a lag there. Let's go back to the indice here. Let's have a look at this. More interactive live sessions, noted. Thank you. I forgot to put that in my on the poll on the channel. Better go and edit that quickly. Oh, it was this one. I meant to edit it. No, I can't edit it. I should have said interactive stuff. So noted. Okay, so all right. So because what I had thought I would do with these is possibly look at doing a morning market analysis. Something that's like 15 minutes, do it live, broadcast it from here, and do it at 7:30 or something. 7:30 till 8, maybe once or twice a week, and do that. And then maybe do the major news announcements, election, NFP, anything else that's really major, so that we can watch it in real time. And also look at how the technical analysis tends to contribute towards that. How often does it differ from the technical analysis, and how often does it follow through on that? Okay. So let's have a look at this. Okay. All right. Just looking at those. All right, unemployment sitting at 3.5. That's good. So the figures are still good. The US economy is still doing well. So what are the things that are going well in the US economy right now? Okay, so just, doesn't really matter what our political beliefs are, which never used to be a thing. They are now, I guess. But they're trying to bring manufacturing jobs back from outside and start to do more in the US and investing in the infrastructure so that more people can be employed, work from home, and even the infrastructure money is contracts for people, for builders, for contractors of sorts. So there's going to be job growth, and it's very, very good. If you can build a wealthy middle class, it's very powerful. If you read Ray Dalio's New World Order, that's really where a lot of that stuff comes. I instinctively knew it, as in I picked it up from my dad, but reading his book confirms the logic behind why all the pieces have to be that way, but it does work. Okay, so see that it's stalling here a little bit. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to switch this to a 1 minute chart so that we can kind of see what's going on there. So I'll make that one a 1 minute one. And, and I guessed the range so far. Guessed it relatively well. I don't know why, I just guessed that range. Okay, so that's part of the reason it's doing relatively well, is if you invest into the majority of the population, they can, they get jobs, they've got money, there's contracts, and so on and so forth. It's very interesting. So Ray Dalio's New World Order is possibly one of the most profound books that I've read in a very, very long time, and I highly encourage you to read it. Right, let's go and have a look at any other comments that you might have here. Here we go. So, go deeper with strategies. Okay, cool. That's a good one. And do I think dollar yen will continue to rise and go up off the weekly chart? Dollar yen. All right. So we'll come back to this one. Let's go back to this. Okay, so I'm a little bit out of touch with what the Bank of Japan is doing now. I do know that they have updated their policies, and this is going to have an impact on the yen, but I haven't actually, I've had a crazy week, and I haven't actually focused on that to try to tie that into what I think the markets are going to do. So I'm not making fully informed sort of guesstimates on that. I'd have to just look at the charts, look at the overall trend. Look at the one of the issues is that the yen is sort of obviously all currencies devalue over time, but that could be over 100 years. That's normal. It's inflation. That's what happens. But there's this weakening quite a bit, which, excuse me, as they depend a lot on exports, that's fine. But you can't be all one way or another. You need to be balanced. You have to be, because one thing is both of them at the extremes are very bad for the economy. Again, Ray Dalio has a massive impact on my education on this. So My nose is dry and it's itchy. That is really what I think is likely to happen. So again, if I just look at the bring it up here and just bring up the dollar yen. So here we go, and just look at JPY. You can see what it's kind of doing across the board. And generally, we can see it is generally weakening, but their policies have done that. So I really need to have a look at it. It's possible they've got to a point where they want to kind of bring it back down, and I need a bit more information. You can see it's sort of stalling now. I would say it's not trending anymore. So the trend that was here, it's now kind of stalled. The problem is that it's not really hasn't come down here. So what we need to do, so in fact, at this time, it looks like it wants to keep going. But what would change that would be a weekly bearish candle that closes right near the lows. That would be like a momentum candle. So I need a strong bearish candle, something like this, one of these ones, something like that, that would then probably indicate that we're going to head a little bit lower. It's just managed to turn around. We've got a monthly uptrend, a bit overextended. Yeah, I think, look, I think for now it's probably going to stay where it is and ping pong around just for the next, possibly for the next couple of months. Yeah, if we suddenly get that stronger dollar thing happening again, we'll see a move. But I don't think that's going to happen. Last year was triggered by inflation, and it was triggered predominantly by Russia invading Ukraine, which was then a bit of a move to the dollar, and also because of inflation. Those are the two primary drivers. It was such a long answer for such a straightforward question. Sorry. Okay, let's go back to the charts here. There we go. Okay, so one of the things that I noticed many years ago is that, that NFP swings around, which actually this one really hasn't. I was expected to go up and then down and then up. Seems to be just generally going with a weaker dollar. And then something happens later on. Then something happens later in the afternoon. So now it's like, we'll go for 5 more minutes, but usually about 3 o'clock, it has then decided where it's going to go. And if it starts going down by 3 o'clock, it's been trending down. It'll usually keep going until the end of the session, until Friday night close. If it starts going up, so it's always you don't get the direction even within 30 minutes of NFP. You get it about 2 hours later, whatever the reason be. I think most people in the US just end up going out for lunch and they don't go back. So I don't think there's a lot happening. They either maybe they unwind their positions, and then that's what it is. And they go home. And in the UK, not much necessarily happens after NFP, so you might as well just go. Okay. Cool. Great. Thank you, Richard. Yeah, send an email to me, please. Thank you. I really do appreciate it. Do I think EuroCAD will continue to rise? Oh, and I know, Usman, I have to reply to your email. Again, sorry. Wow, look at that, hey? Sure. Let's go back to the daily here. Yeah, look at that. That looks bullish. Let's go back to the first one. That looks bullish. That looks bullish. You can just see you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like 7, 8 weeks of just wicks over here. So it's pushing off. That could be your momentum candle. So that pushes that way, closes, and then it's going to start heading higher. And this is the line. Probably close on the other side of it. So at the very least, we've got I almost want to say a bit of support here. I think we are likely to see dollar CAD go higher. So then what happens with the rest? Euro CAD? Yeah, that's looking a bit more bullish. Shorter term, pound CAD, GBP CAD, not really giving me much there, but the pound on its own is pretty strong. I mean, here I looked at this, highlighted this, and then we didn't really get anywhere. Now look at us pushing up. Aussie CAD? Aussie CAD's very weak, I would think. Wants to push a bit higher. Oh, then that's got the opposite here, but this is probably the Aussie dollar that's got the wicks on top. Kiwi CAD, not offering much. CAD yen, interesting, not moving anywhere. Well, yeah, because it would be weakening. Excuse me, and CAD Swissy, weakening. Interesting. Okay, so again, let's have a look over here. I wouldn't normally do this for me. I would do it for you. Go look at all the different things. So we've got, this is the Canadian index to see what the story is. And it's looking more and more bullish. So it's a mess because of this. So you can see it's got all these wicks up here and a little bit of wicks. So it's probably range bound is the best way to put it. Probably range bound. But for now, it appears as though it's possibly at the bottom of the range and it's going to go up for a week or two. That's probably the best thing I could do. And EuroCAD in isolation, EuroCAD to me looks more bullish than bearish. Yeah. Cool. So we've got a couple of minutes. Let me run through the currency pairs I quite like the look of for next week, for those moves. So let's go through all of them. Okay, euro dollar is just, these big swings are very painful. They don't really help you much. They don't do much. What I think about JPY, just in general. Oh yeah, sorry. I thought JPY XXX. What's that? In general, I think I have to do a proper analysis of it. I need to find out how this policy, the policy changes and what the Bank of Japan have done and how that's going to impact it. But right now, it looks like it's going to stay in the same place, I think. So not really loving euro dollar. Sterling is looking interesting because it got knocked back down to this level. Crosses. There we go. Gotcha. Sorry, XXX crosses. No. That was a good one. Okay, I'll have a look at those now. Aussie still looks quite weak to me. So I'd be looking for pullbacks. It's not the best, but it is at least going somewhere. Kiwi's sitting on support. Let's look at dollar yen. Let's do all the yen crosses quickly. Euro yen, a little bit messy. Pound yen. They all look like they're gonna ping pong around for a bit. Yeah, they don't look great. They do not look great. They've definitely been under pressure to the downside. So here, for example, that can go. That can go. But I'm not convinced. CAD yen, they all look like they're going to head a little bit lower to me. They stand in the same place, but they don't look, the trends that were here now, I'm not seeing any sign of that. Not seeing any sign of it. Anything else that looks good? What about dollar Swissy? Hold on. Dollar Swissy, I'd love to see a pullback into 88.45, 88.50, or even 88, and then see if there's some opportunity for it to head down. Dollar CAD, to me, looks bullish. So I think next week I would be looking at day trading opportunities to the upside. Euro GBP is a mess, but it still looks a little bit more bullish than bearish, but it's messy. Euro Swissy looks giving some mixed signals here. Let's just get rid of that. Oh, I didn't see that before. It's sitting at a bit of a double bottom there. Okay. I'll see what's going to happen there now. Euro CAD bullish. So yep, couple of dollar CAD, Euro CAD, nice and bullish. Euro Oz bullish. Euro Kiwi looks bullish, but it's got to break through that resistance level. So I like those. Pound Swissy, no. Stay away. Pound CAD, maybe. So maybe the slash Aussie slash Kiwi slash CAD pairs will have something. Euro CAD, Euro Aussie, pound Aussie possibly. Aussie Kiwi, you know, started trading, Aussie Kiwi was a tradable pair. I remember you could trade it very nicely, but not anymore. In fact, you trade dollar SEK, Swedish krona, Danish krona. It's weird because nowadays they just haven't grown the way the others have. Aussie CAD, I think CAD pairs to the upside for day traders. Aussie Swissy, still bearish at this point. Continuation opportunities there. No trend continuations. Kiwi CAD, let's see, Kiwi Swissy, Aussie, so the weak ones against that. Okay. I also want to find a tool that could be an objective. I do it but I'd love to find a tool that would tell me the relative currency weakness and strength of each of the pairs. So Aussie is +1, -2, and then compare that to the rest so that you could look for good pairs to trade. Swissy and CAD. I think CAD pairs are probably going to be the higher probability stuff, followed by Aussie pairs for next week. Do I think pound Aussie will continue to rise? I do. I think but it's not as strong as Euro. It's not as strong as Euro Aussie. the flows to the upside. There we go. Quick look at gold. Gold's trying to find support here. That's interesting because it could be a bit of an, you know, when you go from a downtrend into an uptrend, that could happen there. What's silver looking like? Not as strong. Brent crude. That all looks fine. How are they doing? And they're going to head lower. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that we're going to see the indices head lower for now. Back into the 20-period moving averages. They've had a good run. They need to have a nice correction. So I'm pretty sure that's going to happen, even possibly next week. What happened with Tesla and nothing? Earnings. I was looking to see what happened with earnings. Cryptos, not going anywhere. What happened with Apple? Apple's having a correction. Yeah, they all need a correction. This is all going to come out of my weekend video anyway, so I'm not going to bore you with it, but it would be there. Any other comments on my weekly videos as well, guys? Any thoughts on those? Are they the right length? Are they informative? Any criticism is welcome. Okay, cool. I'm going to let you go, though. Sort of run past the clock. But yeah, let's have a look at that. Jobs figures look good. Unemployment is still low. I don't think there's going to be a recession. It has to be a surprise, something, and I don't think there's anything right now that's a surprise. There's a lot of people that are doom talking about a whole lot of stuff, so it's not a surprise because so many people are talking about it. So far, I think the US economy, on the other hand, doesn't have the kind of growth potential it could have. I think it could have, but it's a different kind of country with different cultures, and therefore the different political parties and different, and not completely different, but not the same. You too. Gents, thank you very much. Always a and thanks very much. And yeah, I'll see you at the next one. But I'll do my weekend video as well. Thank you. Cheers.